Oh, you're back. You're here for more Lucky Star, and I'm not going to disappoint, because, well, how could I say no? Especially with so much effort being put into their end scenes. Are we going to have more character degradation? I kinda hope so. At any point do they do a variation on that opening? I think it would feel wrong if they did. And considering that we had mentions of Valentine's Day, they just completely skipped over most of January. What month are we going to be thrust into on this episode? And we don't actually see them do much of actual schoolwork or things in school other than just complaining about not doing homework or tests, studying, maybe visiting the cafeteria once in a while. New character introduction. This is the little sister, is it? I was about to say, she does know about her driving, right? Arrived in one piece. A proper kind of introduction there. If she hadn't, this meeting would be a lot different. Did she receive a few words of advice? Do we know who that was? How could you say that her new best friend and saviour might not be in the school? Especially since we've seen some of the other students who've actually made it in. You've been waiting this long. She was fully expecting, yeah. It must mean that you had good news. Did you even get her name? Someone have very few words. You know, first impressions are important. I was about to say, why is she standing as triumphantly? Completely oblivious. At least she gets there quickly. Well, you kind of are. It took you that long to piece it all together. That is a big stretch for the morning. Of course she's up early. There's a lot of gaming to be done. Or a lot of gaming that has been done. That's, seeing who's calling you without having to pick up is a great benefit. And I don't really answer anything if I don't already know who it is. Was that just a wrong number? Of course. Doesn't mean that she's not going to answer. And you didn't buy a single thing. That poor telemarketer. And you don't have the points and or the money. And this is the this is the point that she falls at. The things that really matter. I'd hope a non-smoking table. If you've ever kind of separated from your friends and not really knowing where they are and having to look around and no one waves to you and you don't notice the table, that's awkward. I hate that feeling. Especially when you don't know where you're going. There are very few places like where other people you generally gather that you're still allowed to smoke. The smoking laws got brought in a while ago now. Are they talking about anyone in particular? I wonder why that is. What a... It's probably best if you don't get what he's saying. Society might be better off if he stayed inside. Perfect evening. She has friends? She really misses her, doesn't she? That's the end of that conversation. Have they actually done the homework, though? What is she playing? So, her father taught her the ways of anime and manga early on. Harry? I remember watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with the family around like TV while eating and whatnot. After this commercial break. Well, there has been cases where they, extend it to the next episode, but it's probably, it might be different across different countries how they do things. And how are they going to initially react? That might not be the best to answer. See? Yeah, I was about to say. It's exactly what she's been telling her. I don't think there was any kind of celebration, kind of graduation, anything for when I went into high school. I guess it's not really that big of a deal here. Then again, it was like 15, even more years ago than that, actually. So things could have changed. Really taking action. Such a sickly child. There's someone in this group who gets your troubles. If you aren't... What great advice. But when she does show up, is she photogenic? She knows exactly where to look. I think the school I went to was relatively geared towards getting people into university and whatnot, or at least further education, and it being classified as a language college. I think the school was. But it wasn't actually, it was all left up to the student. if you didn't want to or didn't care, no one actually forced anything. Rather than learning university level, college level French while you're still in high school. And then she's thinking back on it and reminiscing fondly. She can just walk in through the front gates. And I've mentioned it before, but that's something that's also very different. There's no constant, like, checkups or weight checks in this country, which actually would probably be beneficial if there were. I think that's a great invitation. Yeah. A great role model. Do anything with confidence and you'll be fine. He's never had to close the door before. You get used to it. It's finally okay for her to comment on someone else's height, the stature, when she's not at the receiving end of it. It's only funny when it's someone else. Of course not. You know, now she's going to ask to have a look, see how you do it. Once that her image of her is sullied by realizing what she's actually like. And this is the person that is supposedly looking out for the peace of the neighborhood. Final answer. She's not even facing the right way this time. We're recording. I mean, there's the main show, which you could want to be part of. But there is this, which is still technically on screen, people watching. No? Her telling him not to be self-centered is amusing. You're probably kept around so you don't burn anything. That's the only reason. Hmm? His... Everyone sent in your letters of complaint, postcards. Force them to inject you into every element of the actual show. Really going all out. Is that the producer or the soundman? Ah. It's bad that it falls on his shoulders to try and stop her tirade. I wonder how long before she's replaced. She seems like so much trouble to work with. It's just, how much sway does she actually have? Not really her... in her heyday, is she? Dun 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 dun. I want to see the super moves. Is this what passes as entertainment? I see lots of little different things from various movies that he's putting in there, whether they're not actual martial art moves. Why is the time for this fight unlimited? The fact he hasn't missed a beat throughout all of this. Was there inputs we could have done to beat him? We actually got a name there. That seems wrong. We know nothing. As per usual, really. I feel like we got some actual good lessons in this one, mainly surrounding older siblings, those that you have others that look up to you. It's all a farce. They don't know what they're doing. I'm the oldest of 3 brothers, and I have no clue. They were screwed from the start with me as someone to look up to. And with the news growing repeatedly more concerned about people walking the streets and others approaching them, I feel like that might be a relevant factor in upcoming episodes, or one that never doesn't really get mentioned other than in the background, and we see who the culprit really is. Don't think we really need to think too hard about it, though. And while we're talking about a particular family, why has various police departments lowered their standards so much? Or at least what it takes to get a license. But I guess it all gets overshadowed by that end screen where we see a whole bunch of haphazard like karate moves stuck together in the form of a one-sided fighting game. Is this what we should expect to see going forward? I mean, it's certainly something more visually entertaining than seeing the wall and the door, but is it something we all need? Let's hold a vote down in the comments. But while we're thinking of that, if you all remember your first day of high school, how did it go? Did everything seem as scary as it seems, moving into someplace you don't know? People that may or may not be friendly. And a whole lot of more intense lessons, forms of education, where they actually expect you to do homework. But right now, I'd say no matter who your role model is, just make sure you enjoy life. There's always more anime to watch. And going along that lines, if you like this one, consider letting me know. Leaving a like on that video, maybe even a comment down below helps out the channel. Make sure to force me to watch more. Subscribe and make sure you don't miss out. I wouldn't say it if it didn't do something to the channel, but for me personally, it is astounding seeing that this many people seem to be wanting to come back for more. Makes you think that I'm either doing something slightly entertaining, or there's a lot of people with not a lot else to do. Probably the latter. Get some rest. Join me for the next one. If you would like to be the warm voice, the calming hand on my shoulder pushing me through the first day of school, consider joining onto my Patreon. Because with the help of Electric Ant, Althea, Noku, Raywin, Kite, Shiwan, Mecha, Matt, Stinsfire, Girly, Saltytron, Cardboard, Dark Shadow 7899 and everyone else, I'm not caught in the bathroom crying. At least, not for very long.